Hello everyone. In this narrated presentation, we're going to go beyond the community health worker core values to look at the principles that protect us and our clients that are represented through ethics and laws. Let's get started. First, looking at the difference between ethics versus values is that values, as we looked at in the last presentation, are what one believes is important in life and what is good behavior. That's honesty, integrity, kindness, things like that. Healthcare ethics, on the other hand, is a thoughtful exploration of how to act well and make morally good choices based on beliefs and values about life, health, suffering, and death. So these are principles like confidentiality, informed consent, and policies around discrimination. It's important to know how to distinguish between your own ethics and values and the ethics and values of your profession, because you may discover conflicts between the two. For instance, if you are working in a program where the population served includes teenage girls at risk for pregnancy, but you believe that abortion is wrong under any circumstances, there would be a conflict because your professional ethics would oblige you to discuss abortion resources in a non-biased way if they are relevant to your client. If that situation or one like it makes you uncomfortable, then it is your responsibility to discuss the implications of your personal ethics and values with your supervisor, because you could be doing a disservice to your clients otherwise. Now, looking at the difference between ethics and law, take a moment to review this chart here. Think about what makes ethics and laws different. You may notice that laws are much more clearly stated and observable. Ethics can be a little fuzzier, but are no less important. It is crucial for community health workers to understand the ethical issues in their work, not only to do right by clients and agencies, but to feel good about what they do and protect themselves and their organization. You often hear about different codes of ethics. So do community health workers have a code of ethics? While there isn't necessarily an international standard for a community health worker code of ethics, they certainly have a responsibility in the delivery of care. They need to be honest. Community health workers are professionals that strive to ensure the best health outcomes for the communities they serve. They communicate the potential benefits and consequences of available services, including those in the programs for which they are employed. Community health workers maintain confidentiality. Community health workers respect the confidentiality, privacy, and trust of individuals, families, and the communities they serve. They understand and abide by employer policies, as well as state and federal confidentiality laws that are relevant to their work. Community health workers are always striving for quality. Community health workers strive to provide high-quality service to individuals, families, and communities. They do this through continued education, training, and an obligation to ensure the information they provide is up to date and accurate. Community health workers also always work within their scope of practice. Community health workers are truthful about their qualifications, competencies, and limitations of the services they may provide, and should not misrepresent qualifications or competencies to the clients or communities that they serve. Community health workers also recognize the importance of referrals to appropriate services. They acknowledge when client issues are outside of their scope of practice and refer clients to the appropriate health, wellness, or social services when necessary. Community health workers also respect legal obligations. They have an obligation to report actual or potential harm to individuals within the communities they serve to the appropriate authorities. Additionally, community health workers have a responsibility to follow requirements set by states, the federal government, and/or their employing organizations. Responsibility to the larger society or specific legal obligations may supersede the loyalty owed to individual community members. If you have any questions about these things, the best resource you'll have is your supervisor at your organization. Community health workers also need to promote equitable relations. They need to respect cultural diversity. Community health workers possess expertise in the communities in which they serve. They maintain a high degree of humility and respect for the cultural diversity within each community. As advocates for their communities, community health workers have an obligation to inform employers and others when policies and procedures will offend or harm the communities or are ineffective within the communities where they work. And of course, once again, trust is number one. Community health workers are often members of their communities, and their effectiveness in providing services derives from trust placed in them by members of these communities. Community health workers do not act in ways that could jeopardize the trust placed in them by the communities they serve. Community health workers respect human rights and self-determination. They respect the rights of those they serve, advance principles of self-determination, and promote equitable relationships with all communities. And community health workers believe in anti-discrimination. Community health workers do not discriminate against any person or group on the basis of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, age, religion, social status, disability, or immigration status, as well as many others. Community health workers also seek to maintain professional client relations. They believe in cooperation, placing the well-being of those they serve above personal disagreements, and working cooperatively with any other person or organization dedicating to helping provide care to those in need. Community health workers also have integrity in service delivery. Community health workers promote integrity in the delivery of health and social services. They respect the rights, dignity, and worth of all people and have an ethical obligation to report any inappropriate behavior, such as sexual harassment or racial discrimination, to the proper authorities. Community health workers also respect and set boundaries. You need to maintain a professional relationship with your clients, which means establishing respect and actively maintaining personal boundaries between yourself and the client. We will have a lot more detail on setting professional boundaries in a later presentation. Documentation and data security is also an extremely important way to protect yourself, protect your clients, and protect your organization. Not documenting something or documenting something that didn't happen can really be problematic. You can be subpoenaed for your testimony in court, and your defense is what you documented in the patient chart. If you didn't write it, it didn't exist. Failure to protect client-patient information leads to millions of dollars in lawsuits every year, and personal medical information is a high-value target for cybersecurity threats. Make sure to follow your organization's security and privacy protocols in addition to HIPAA regulations to ensure you are protecting your clients and yourself. Also think, what is the protocol in your organization if you were to have a company laptop or cell phone used to contact clients stolen out of your car while you were out grabbing lunch? You never know when these types of things are going to happen, and it's important to be prepared.